Hey, there we go.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Old Gray Bricks Messy Monday. I'm FLEEBNORK. Fazoom is not with us this evening, but I got Proud Love here with me. And,
Hello.
we're just hanging out. This is our usual show of kind of chilling out and talking about whatever we got going in our Lego areas. And here's Matthew.
Hey, there he is.
I'm sorry, I'm having a lot of technical issues. I had to change a bunch of passwords and I can't log into my laptop. I don't know why, and I can't seem to get my Gmail to update on my phone. So I'm on my phone right now, which is probably shitty.
Seems okay. So we're glad you could join us. So,
yeah, every time you talk, it sounds terrible.
Oh, well, you sound all right to us. Uh-oh.
Whoop, we lost him.
In the chat, we got Brickman Mosaics Art. Hello. We got Dr. Brahm. We got Brick. And yeah, this is just the old Messy Monday hanging out. What are you up to, Nathan? What you built anything this week? Any little bits?
I haven't been building a lot since that since the Vic Viper that I posted last week. Was that only last week? It feels like a long time ago. Yeah, that was only last week.
It all runs.
I know. So I haven't really done much since. I'm really narrowing in on the here, I can actually focus on this guy now because I got a different camera. So I got this guy, and he's coming together. I think he's almost done. I got the little backpack rocket engine thing going on in the back there, which I'm pretty stoked about. I still haven't changed the feet. I've tried a few things, but they just end up looking like clown shoes. I wanted it to look like boots, but the boots just end up looking like clown shoes, like I say. So I'm kind of rolling with what I've got here for now. This should just it just pops off, so you can get access on to the fig and the inside, the whole top / backpack, and yeah, that's what I've been working on.
All right,
and then other than that, let me focus. There we go. I got to keep an eye on that. Other than that, I've been kind of trying to get a sense of my Lego area as a whole, and start really establishing some better infrastructure for my collection, and plan in the new year on getting some new storage solutions. And I'm doing a lot of sorting, a lot of organizing, that sort of thing. I bought today at our dollar store near here these trays, which they're $3.50, so they're not super cheap, but they fit 2 inside my drawers almost like exactly. So they're really efficient use of space, and I can just pull them out, and whatever pieces I put in there, I can have kind of a palette of bits.
Yeah, well, if it works, it works.
Yeah, like last week I showed that I usually cut the these poster board inserts, which are, I mean, honestly, they're a slightly better solution because it's only, I can expand the collection more easily with drawers inserts that I can customize fully, right? So so the black ones, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to use them for. I'm planning on using them for bits. Oh, we lost Matt again.
Yeah, I think he might be trying to switch to his laptop.
Yeah, so the black trays, I'm going to try and find bits that kind of are themed, that I use often in like conjunction with each other, like all the minifig bits, maybe minifig accessories or something that I often need to pull out a bunch at once or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's in constant flux. What about you? What's going on?
Not a whole lot. I haven't built much lately, but I with the advent calendar that my son's been opening and getting the little Star Wars spaceships out of it and stuff. So we also were watching Star Wars Rebels. So I looked up someone else's instructions online and built this micro scale ghost
I
from
saw that. That's really cute.
Rebels. So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
nice little model, and it even has a tiny little phantom that you can pop off the back. It's just like a clip with some tiles on it. So it's a little bit.
Nice. How
But
do
he
you
liked
have that? What's that tile attached to?
it's
It's
on a
just
clip.
it just squeezes a clip.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's short.
okay. Oh, the little round ones. It fits on those.
Got to
Nice.
be an old school clip with the small
Yep.
mini size hand on it though, because the thicker clips it won't work.
Yeah, I was figuring. I was looking at that, going, "How did you do that?" I don't think that works with most clips.
I just happen to have those old ones, so yeah. But anyway, it's a nice little neat little thing.
Yeah, I like it.
And then I also have built my Christmas thing for Chris's challenge for I think it's next week's Thursday of Gray Bricks, but it's the FXmas Star Patroller.
Nice.
I got Santa hanging out there in the pilot seat. This is straight off the instructions from the FX Star Patroller. Here's the little Christmassy colors.
Connector. Christmas connector.
Yeah, the Christmas connector. I did a little bit of parts substitution, like on the front here. I wanted to get some gold in there, and I
And
used
the droid arms would have been.
yeah, the droid arms are that's different.
Yeah.
Little option, little
Yeah,
change.
it's cool.
And I used instead of the old school space engines, I only had one of those in white.
Okay.
Decided to use the airplane engines and then sort of just use some old school brackets in there just to make those work.
Ah, yes.
And
do I even have any of those in white? I'm not even sure.
And then the robot driving the little rover that fits in the back. I have to rotate the antennas because you have to smash down the robot's antennas and arms and everything to get them to fit in the back. But there's the little Christmas robot, and he's driving a rover that has Santa's letters in the back of it. So
Perfect.
So yeah, that's kind of my little fun thing for the week. And it looked like maybe Rich was trying to join us, but he I think is on mobile as well. So I don't know if he's going to show up either.
All right. Well,
He's trying. Let's see. Brickman was saying that I was trying to tell everyone I have the Galaxy Explorer. I will give it away to anyone from YouTube who can DM me on Instagram. Oh, wow. Well, there's a challenge for anybody in the chat.
oh,
You guys,
There you go.
if you guys want to try, you can see if you can get one of those from Brickman Mosaics. That sounds like a good deal.
And he said he was building a custom mock of a car from the movie Grease. That's one that I've always kind of had on my list, Brickman. Which one are you talking? The one that they build for real, or the one from the Dream? Because I built a small version of Grease Lightning from their Dream sequence before. I don't. Man, that would have been a long time ago. Do you know what what we're talking about, Mark? Do you remember
I saw
Grease?
a million years ago when I was a kid, so I really don't remember much of it.
The Grease Lightning from the Dream had a clear hood that I remember using a windscreen kind of over the hood of a minifigs kind of scale. I used where's the FLEEBNORK containment unit? There it is. I used this as the hood. Whoop. Yeah, this is a pain. My camera doesn't autofocus, so yeah, I used that as a hood at an angle on a Greased Lightning minifig scale car. So that was kind of cool.
I think
And
we've got Rich.
focus.
Here's Rich. Hey, Rich.
Hello.
Hey, I'm having technical issues. I don't know why.
That's okay. Matthew is too. He popped in for a minute and then disappeared. So
Yeah, that's my audio is doing weird things. I'm gonna try.
So in the chat, we've got Moto showed up. Hey, Moto. And Jay. What's up, Jay? And here's our Canadian, one of your Canadian countrymen joining us, Jeff Van Winden.
Hello. Hey,
As we say in the South, Jeff VW.
there's my only Canadians know what this shirt's about.
Isn't that one of the TV channels?
It's the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, old school logo
Right.
from back in the day. Actually, you might still even use it.
We got some Canadian programming in the U.S., like some of the kids shows on Nickelodeon.
You probably had Littlest Hobo at one point.
Yeah, there was some stuff. I mean, you can't do that on television. It's obviously the big one that everybody remembers. But
Yeah,
there
good
were
old Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, there were plenty of other kind of little Canadian shows that popped up on Nickelodeon back in the day as well. So
That's what it's a boot. Yeah, if you're from like Northern Ontario, that's what it's a boot. You do to boot it. I know I probably have a little bit of that in my voice too, but it's definitely not as strong from out west. What are we looking at? Rich's oh, there we go. Oh, we lost. I think you're muted.
you're muted.
Yeah,
There you go.
here I am. You're getting my chest. I was trying to do some adjustments.
That's fine. I was just worried there for a moment. I was what's
You know, it went
happening?
black. What happened?
We're glad that's the only close up we got.
Yeah.
It's the only close up you're gonna get.
I mean, Chris is away, so we can
Yeah,
do what we
can
want,
do all
right?
kinds of things. Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to be responsible for taking his show in a dark turn. So
He'd be very disappointed with us, I think.
So what's
Just something for some stories, right?
You still opening the advent calendar, Rich?
Yes, I got my Sith fighter today, and that's it. Because my wife said we're not allowed to open up anymore just yet.
Oh, well, aren't you going to hold it up for the camera? Just give us
Yeah, yes.
That's your
My holiday A-wing.
your holiday A-wing. Very nice. There we are.
Yeah, I had to steal parts from other advent calendar days to get it all green and red properly.
Nice.
It's all I can do.
I like the asymmetrical stripes. That's cool.
Ankle. What's up, Ankle?
Oh yeah, here we go.
Exciting.
Yay!
Pokemon from Canada. That sounds fun.
There are some crazy. I mean, this is a non-Lego tangent when it talks about Pokemon. There are some crazy artists out there who do weird variations of Pokemon. It's nuts. Like there's a guy that does super realistic Pokemon, just gorgeous art.
Some of those are kind of creepy. The realistic Pokemon. It's kind of like,
Yeah, like I mean, I don't want to see a realistic Lickitung. Like that's just.
Well, we got some of that in the movie. You know, the Detective Pikachu with the one on the train that looks the guy, and he's all.
Oh, Lickitung is the weirdest Pokemon. I still say that.
My son loved that part though. He thought that was hilarious.
No, I don't think links work in the chat there, Kevin. There's also the guy who draws Pokemon, but he makes them all look like Garfield.
Oh,
I don't know if you've seen Garfamon, he calls it. It's
and Brick Bunnies.
Terrifying.
Brick Bunnies, we do want to shout out to Julian. He, I believe, had surgery last night on his back. And
wow.
I think, I mean, I have not heard anything, so I'm going to say no news is good news. He should be recovering. Maybe he's even awake and he's watching the show on his phone or something. And if he is...
He did a stream about 6 hours ago. I was watching it just before I joined here.
Okay, so he's okay enough to do a stream from wherever he's recording. So
His hospital gown, it was surreal.
we just want to say hey to Julian and hope you get well soon, buddy.
Yeah, get well soon, buddy.
Yeah. Indeed.
Oh, there you go.
I think I had actually heard that. That sounds familiar, but that's great. Those were really good good pieces, all of them. Like, they're just gorgeous. Gyarados was one of the best. Just a vicious looking sea serpent. It was so good.
Yeah, that was a fun movie. And the thing is, I had personally, I didn't grow up with Pokemon or anything. It came out when I was an adult, and I really kind of didn't pay much attention to it, because it came out in the late 90s. And, I was just like, okay, whatever. It's what the kids are doing now. But my son, he's now, his birthday's next week. He'll be 9. I got into it with him about a year ago. And so we went to see Detective Pikachu, and he's way into it and loves it. And we played the cards and we played video games. And so that's been kind of fun to sort of retroactively learn about Pokemon stuff from my son getting into it and watching cartoons and all that kind of stuff. So
I kept watching cartoons well through the 90s when they were on, and I got to watch the Pokemon cartoon, and that was kind of fun. And my son was about the right age at that time. Now my grandson is totally into it. He wants Pokemon cards over Lego.
Oh, yeah, my kid went through that too.
So maybe he'll come back to the fold. We'll see.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think COVID sort of killed the Pokemon cards thing for us, because we were going to a local comic book shop here that also has closed because of COVID. And, I was taking him every Sunday to play Pokemon cards. And
Nice.
Since we can't go anywhere to play the cards, he hasn't really been asking for the cards anymore. And he still watches the cartoons some and sort of plays video games a bit of that, but he's got so many video games competing for his attention that
Don't we all?
It's hard for him to stick to any one thing for very long. So
The Pixelmon Minecraft mod is kind of brilliant for Pokemon fans.
yeah, he's played with that a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause he is, of course, way into Minecraft as well. So
Yeah, it's kind of a perfect combination of those two. Yeah, I actually have a couple Pokemon decks for playing the game, and they're kind of fun. I think I'm barely younger than you there, Mark. So I was kind of in the same boat, got into it late. Even before I had my son, I still kind of started to get into the lore a little bit, because I had younger friends who grew up with it that kind of were like fans into adulthood. So that was kind of cool. I have one of my colleagues is he's almost 10 years younger than me. So he's perfect age to have grown up in the Pokemon fandom. And he really got me into some of the different designs and stuff, and introduced me to Garfamon and those creepy ones.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there is a builder on Instagram that builds pretty cool Pokemon. I want to say it's Lego Folk, but I wanted to be sure.
That's right. Well, Dan Rubin is building a couple too. He built a really kick-ass Snorlax recently, which I really enjoyed.
I just want to check and make sure I'm telling you. Yeah, it is. It's Lego Folk. So on, oh yeah, there you go. We got the Hinkle and the Pokeball. There we are.
The rarest of them all, the mythical Hinklemon.
Excellent. And we got
That is quite nice. I
Fever.
like that.
So yeah, on Instagram we got Lego Folk. That's the
Nice.
person. And there's one of the Zapdos.
That's
So
great.
some of these are digital, but you know the models that this person makes are pretty cool.
Yeah, I would say from the look of those models, I bet they've been, like, a lot of them have been prototyped with real bricks, if not the right color.
Yeah, and like here's the Gyarados.
Yeah, that's great. Wow, that is a really great model.
Yeah, I have you know, that's why a lot of the stuff that this person comes up with on Instagram is really neat stuff and really neat use of parts and stuff. So I would recommend you know, check it out.
I just went and checked him out and followed him. He's also got these the ice spiders from the Mandalorian.
Nice. Also, I wanted to, as I looked at Instagram, shout out to Dana, who was in his doing a shoot with the classic space action there. He's not with us this evening on Old Gray Bricks, but you'll usually see him on Thursdays on Old Gray Bricks, and that's his classic spacey outfit there. So I just thought I would toss that up so everybody could enjoy.
Yeah, I saw that earlier too. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, it's a
cracked
good
and uncracked.
Yeah. So it's
Nice.
pretty cool. The helmet that he built for that, he put yellow LED lights inside of it.
Cool.
So they shine on his face when he wears it, and it makes his face look yellow, which is a really
That's-
inventive way of having like
Yeah.
a yellow face without having to like put paint on or something weird like that. So no red gloves. Yeah, that's something. I think he needs to do that just to torment Chris.
That'd be great.
Wow, there's 850 Pokemon now.
There are, yep.
Crazy.
Yes. I just did a trade yesterday with one of my fellow Pokemon Go players. Hey, there he is. He's back on his laptop. Nod.
All right.
It was a nightmare, but I'm here. So I'm sorry for being late.
You weren't late. You just fell off a cliff. I was late.
What,
As,
no,
in, as in the late Matt.
I'm not technologically advanced, and my husband bailed me out again. But I get frustrated when I have to go into password recovery, and I only threw a few things against the wall.
well, there's something. There's a quote I saw on Twitter that somebody said that Generation X uses technology like millennials, but we get angry at it like boomers.
I do.
But what new sailor hat today, Matthew?
I have a wide collection of hats. So no, we're not sailor today. Today we're the mountains. So
No, I like better. I think we need something other than a baseball cap. We need, like, you know.
I've got a Civil War slouch hat, Union slouch hat. I can wear that.
Oh, I don't know if that's allowed in this part of the country, though.
Well, Gins isn't on, so there's a lot of Yankees on today's broadcast and one Canadian. So I don't have a Canada hat, but I do have an English cricket hat.
Ah,
I don't know what that is.
It's like a baseball cap, but with the Union Jack on it, basically.
Okay.
The cricket hat looks basically like a baseball hat.
Okay.
I'm Canadian. I have no idea what cricket is.
I have a cricket hat.
Ooh.
There you go.
Ooh.
This is actually this is not a regulation cricket bat. This is one that my stepdad made for me.
Yeah.
That I use with. I have a Shaun of the Dead outfit that I've worn for Halloween. So I've got like the white shirt with the red on the pocket and the tie, and I made a name tag to go with it.
Brilliant.
So yeah, it's fun anyway. It is regulation size though. I looked up the regulation size for the cricket bat, and my stepdad did, I think, a pretty nice job of making it the right shape and everything. I mean,
That's cool.
he's doing woodworking in his retirement, so he really did his best to try to make it look as realistic as he could. So anyway, that's a complete derail.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys were probably having an interesting conversation while I was like throwing things at the wall. So
You ruined it. The
I've
moment is
learned that
past.
being angry at the technology does no good.
We were talking about Lego Pokemon.
Oh, I don't have a lot of opinions about that topic, so go ahead.
No. There you
Well, we were talking about an
Carry on.
Instagram builder called Lego Folk that is incidentally, it's the same person that made the old gray brick that Chris built, the old gray brick mascot. But yeah, it's really fun. So yeah, the old gray brick. Yeah.
Well, it's one of the reasons that I tend to use Apple devices is that for the most part, they work all the time and they're more intuitive than other things. And I am not a programmer, nor do I want to become one. And I want things to work all the time. And I don't mind paying a little extra for that. But today, nothing was working. So I reset the passwords on a number of my accounts, and then I just couldn't get the new passwords to work on devices. It's Magnus.
Hello.
Hey, Magnus, I actually wanted you to talk last week on Thursday when the castle was being displayed. And here we have somebody who has a master's degree in medieval history with a focus on military, and you didn't say anything.
I didn't want to interrupt. I think, he had a lot of cool stuff to explain. I didn't want to interrupt him. I thought it was awesome.
Okay.
I would love to just talk castles with him, a lot, and with you maybe.
I assumed that the slit windows that he had were more accurate than the typical windows people put in castles.
What windows do people usually put in castles?
Well, they're usually wider than just a narrow little spot.
Yeah, usually
for the
a brick
archers.
wide instead of trying to fill them in and get them to the arrow slit kind of size.
The arrow slit, the narrow kind is definitely more accurate as far as like the Middle Ages goes. But if a lot of those medieval castles were modified over the years, so by say, the 15 or 16 or 1700s, they might have been like, well, we can widen these windows a little bit. So some of them look like that now, but it doesn't mean that's how they looked when they were first built.
Before, yeah. The trick is in Lego is to try to get them so that when you do the slit, that it's you've got T-slopes that are wider on the inside, so that the outside is just flat. So you can get your dig in there.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So for all those times that you
Where there's the
see
slopes.
the inside of the castle.
Yeah, when you're showing the inside of your castle wall, yeah. As you do.
Mm-hmm.
As
As you do.
some of them open up. I mean, from the very beginning, they've been designed to look at the inside as well. So
Yeah,
Angus,
it's
have you built a castle yourself? Because I know you mostly do G.I. Joe, or at least that's what we see on this show.
Oh yeah, I built castles. Let me see. I don't know how much I can show, but I can. There's a big castle that I've had. That I think I've shown on the show before. This one. You see that?
I do. It looks
Yes.
nice.
It's on one of those raised base plate things that I think are unfairly maligned.
The Mills plate.
No, the old
it's a
school,
raised refrigerator plate.
molded
a-
one.
Oh, the molded one piece. Gotcha.
Yeah. And this was designed to be part of a modular castle, and it can be like in the middle of a castle surrounded by a wall, or it can be incorporated into the wall, like this will be here. Let's see. This thing here is can be taken off very easily. Yeah, I mean, you can either link up a wall to this bit, or I can just take it out, and then it makes sense to be in the middle of a castle.
So it's designed to be the keep if there's outer walls available.
Yes. However, I also have my castle that I built a long time ago in here, and you can just see tower here.
Yeah.
So
The
basically,
Magnus
In
closet.
there.
I've got about about 8 boxes full of castle in here
Okay.
that
Nice.
I displayed it at Brick Fair 10 years ago. I think it's been a long time. I should dust it off sometime. And I
Yeah.
have aspirations to build more castles, but you know, I'm working on a big baddie castle now that I need to finish first.
Well,
So
let me
if-
invite you. Let me invite you to come to Birmingham in 2022, and you can compete with him. You guys can put your castles up.
So a long time ago, before I started doing buildings, city town, I tried to do quite a bit of castle myself and tried to figure out how to get an integrated wall system that I showed to Magnus a few times, and he seemed to be interested in that. One of the pieces that I actually engineered, it could be a flat wall or you could bend it 90 degrees. And the whole, the upper level where you could walk on the parapet was all one, like maybe a plate higher so that you could, fold things underneath it. It came out pretty well. It wasn't like a big gap. It's like when you folded it, all the hinges folded into themselves.
Now, did you use hinges or did you use 1x1 rounds?
Hinges. I used hinges at the time. I thought it was pretty intricate. And now after a while, I got to the point where, well, either I'm doing stuff for train town, city stuff, or I'm doing castles. So there weren't too many ways to display castle. There weren't like a lot of shows for us to do castle stuff, as Magnus knows. And so I stuck with the city town. So it hasn't come back out into the full front of what I want to do. But that's going to change very soon.
Well, and that is the truth, though, that, doing town layouts, especially if you're sticking to a regular base plates, they're so easy to swap out and interchange. You can walk into a show and you can rearrange the buildings in a second and get a whole new layout and throw in an extra block. And whereas with a castle, it has to have a certain shape to it. And you can't just like, oh, look, here's a whole nother section. Let's just tack this on. Although Magnus is designed to do that, but I would say that's the exception, not the rule when it comes to castles.
Yeah, that was my intent, was to do a modular wall section that you could just put in as many build 30 straight wall pieces and 20 corners. What the heck? What does that mean?
You said, I'm going to put it full front, your castle.
Did I? No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not what I meant. Did I say that? Yeah, okay. I meant that I'm going to get to start doing that.
It's like, no,
as
wait,
well
I
as
didn't say
the
that.
city and town stuff.
We're going to call you
And it'll
Dana
be
number
up
2.
front. Up front. It'll
You
be
have
up
to be
front.
very careful. Phrasing is very important on this show.
Yes, communications, words mean
I think-
things. Yes, I understand.
I'm sorry.
But the idea is to have a bunch of different sections, and then you can just lay out whatever you want. 45-degree corners or 33s, variable, couple variables in there, and then a keep as well, things like that. And I was not very ambitious at the time because I didn't have that much gray to do stuff, but now I have so much gray that it is necessary to do something with it.
Is this old or new gray?
Gray. I've got so much gray. And I think at the time was maybe 6 or 7 bricks high for each wall section, and 16 to 20 long, studs long, which is not very impressive when you put a fig up against it. But now I've got enough to do quite a bit. So that's the plan.
I think
Get them out of.
I'm a fan of modularity, and I think it is fairly straightforward to build a modular castle system, but it's difficult to make it look good because a medieval castle is typically going to flow around terrain. It's not a Roman fort that would be built in a neat rectangle. So ideally, you want to be dealing with
Topography.
Yeah, or at least, even if it's all flat, at least you want the walls to be at funny angles. So you need to be okay with the fact that you're not going to be building on a grid effectively.
Yeah. And that was the purpose of the variable geometry wall section, was that you could have an odd shaped castle walls area. It wouldn't, it's not straight corner and another corner. It could follow some terrain clues. What I need to do is make sure I could build variable going the other way too.
So this last fall, we did a road trip and we went up to Fort Ticonderoga area, and those castles from the American colonial and revolutionary period, they kind of are spiky and they kind of have like an arrowhead type shape on the corners where they stick out so that the people inside the castle could fire from two sides on any approaching force. And I have to say, like, I'm not a castle expert, but I don't recall ever seeing anybody doing that in Lego. Now, probably somebody has, but I haven't seen it. And I thought that was an interesting shape that is not your traditional square block. Like you were saying, the square castle where everything's very angular.
Those shapes were born out of artillery warfare. That's to deflect cannonball effectively. And most people build fantasy castle or castle from the mid-millennium, tens, 1000 through 18 something, 17 something. Yeah.
I've only ever built fantasy castles. I've never bothered looking at any sort of historical accuracy. The first castle I ever built was like a white castle floating on a floating rock. So
You're talking about Cloud Cuckoo Land, aren't you?
Cloud Cuckoo Land. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Personally, I'm not a fan of White Castle. I don't think it tastes that good, but
I mean, I wouldn't know.
They don't have White Castle in Toronto?
I don't think they have it anywhere in Canada. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm in Montreal, not Toronto, but
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It's,
I know that's a
How
put
dare
down. It's to assume that you're in Toronto. I mean, Sacre Bleu, you're in the center of culture, and I've been to Montreal and Toronto, and there's a big difference between those two cities. So I apologize.
No, it's fine. I don't actually care. I don't even know why I bothered clarifying. It didn't really need to be done. I was just like, oh, by the way.
Yeah, you have to pronounce it sorry.
Sorry about that, eh?
And Dana has joined us this evening.
Hello, hello, hello.
There he is.
Dana, we're just letting you know that Rich has already used up the accidental allusion for the show, so you can't do that.
You can't do that.
He used the phrase full frontal and talking about a castle.
So he double entendre ahead of me?
Yes.
Yes. I stepped on your boot.
You stepped on my boot?
What a booted?
A booted?
Uh-oh. We lost the Magnus.
Well, Magnus.
Whoop. Things get shuffled around, and sometimes I'm like, oh, who did we just lose? I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, it could
we were talking about Lego Castle and some interesting things you could possibly do with it, and choices one makes when you have limited storage space or display opportunities.
And we got to see his closet where he stores all of his Lego in large brown boxes.
Including a huge castle with 8 boxes worth of a castle.
He's like, well, these are all filled with castle. And he was like, box after box after box.
That's funny. That's funny.
So does Montreal have an AFOL? Do you guys have a group, an active group, or you kind of just build on your own?
Hey, welcome back.
Hey, man.
There is a club. It's called KLUG for Quebec, Quebec Lug. They meet every 2 months, alternating between Quebec City and Montreal. It's a little bit hard to break into that crew as an Anglophone. I mean, I speak a little French, and I don't really worry too much. Like, I'm not bothered if people speak.
You don't speak French?
I mean, I speak a little, but it's not enough to really keep up, and it just ends up being kind of awkward and weird. And honestly, it's a weird club. It's hard to get into. It's how some clubs are. That's
Do they tell you that they fart in your general direction?
Oh boy.
From the battlement.
Oh boy.
Your mother smells of elderberries?
Is it that they all know each other really well and you're the outsider, or is it like they build a totally different aesthetic than you do, and so
It's
like
both.
you don't really? Okay.
Yeah. A lot of collecting of sets more than really like original work, that sort of thing. And a lot of people are in it for a lot of the, I mean, there's a really tight kind of social community aspect to our hobby. That's true. That attracts, certain types of people, but some people just don't, I don't fit in necessarily all the time with, typical Lego collector types. So
True.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm married to one of those.
Yeah.
She just wants to buy architecture sets and build
no,
them and have
it's
a nice
fine.
day.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It just makes club meetings weird because, I'm like, look at my giant spaceship. They're all like,
Yeah,
"Oh."
that's nice. Have you seen the new Star Wars sets?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lego put that out.
That's how a lot of the conversations go. Here's the
Well,
new
and-
catalog with all the new releases, but I built
Yeah.
this. Yeah, we don't care
And
about that.
And we have that spectrum in ours. I mean, Mark, on the one hand, rarely buys a set just for the set. He likes to tear stuff down and build new stuff. He's a mocker. He's like, I don't know. I mean, I would guess he's 90% mocks and like 10% store sets. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say most of the sets that get bought end up Paul, plays with them, with the exception of this year. I bought the Razor Crest and the Monster Burger Truck. Those are my two sets for the year, and I really like them both.
But
But
again,
in
you
general,
took the Razor Crest and you modded it.
Already.
Yeah, I mean, and not just modded it, but modded it really well that Lego should have done what you did. So just pointing that out for people if they're not aware of that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. That one I did. The Burger Monster Truck I just really love because it's silly and fun, and that one I just that's probably the most pleased I've been with a Lego set in a long time. Just for the sheer,
Pleasure.
I just think it's a super fun set, and it makes me laugh, and it's just cute and fun, and I just really enjoyed it. So
I'm more in the middle of that spectrum where Lego will put something out and I know exactly what to do to change it, like Mark did with this Razor Crest for like buildings. It's got to be a little wider, it's got to be a little deeper, got to have this in it, it's got to have that in it, got to have this certain aesthetic to it. Oh, why did they put the windows with that printed piece there? It's got to go here, that kind of thing. Which is fine, I don't mind people who just build Lego sets and then want to display them that way, or people who just buy parts.
Yep.
I'm somewhere in that, as I said, I'm somewhere right in that middle spectrum where I like the aesthetic of some of the stuff that Lego makes. I just want to make it better.
I think it's sometimes hard for people to relate to others within the hobby when they have very different approaches. Like if you have, I've experienced that myself. Like if you don't know much about Star Wars, I remember it would be very difficult to get excited about the most beautiful Star Wars mocks or sets. Or I'm glad that people are happy collecting sets that they never open, but like I just don't get it.
Yeah.
But
That's weird, man.
I mean, it's weird to me, but I mean, I'm a 42-year-old man who builds my own versions of G.I. Joe toys from the 80s. I mean, that's also its own little niche that everyone is going to be,
That's
not a word at all, Magnus. Not at all.
Yeah.
So because of the question from the chat, I'm going to steal the spotlight for just a moment. So this is my Razor Crest. I used the parts, these newer parts, this curved. I I don't know if you call this a slope or what you would call that, the sort of quarter circle pieces.
I think they call them cylinders. I think they're part of the cylinder group on Bricklink.
Okay. So I use the old school minifig screens to make the kind of nozzle thing going on there. I did the landing gears so they look more like they do on the show, that kind of thing. I added some bits and pieces to the laser gun, just a couple of Technic things in here just to make this look a little more, I don't know,
complex.
Just a little more something. So I also...
You bedazzled it.
I bedazzled it, yes. I have to move my light so that you can see the interior of the...
Nothing wrong with a little bedazzling.
I added some stuff in there, computers and things to flesh that out. And I put the stick because Baby Yoda wants the ball off the stick. You gotta have the ball on the stick.
Yeah. You gotta have the ball in the cockpit somewhere.
Yeah. And I also added the all-important vac tube on the inside.
Ooh, I like that.
In case you need...
You gotta have the vac tube. You
gotta evacuate your thorax. And then, really, this I didn't do much.
The landing gear.
Just did a little bit there to smooth that out, just a little bit. So that's pretty much it. Just some kind of.
Are we not going to talk about last episode of The Mandalorian?
Probably not.
Probably not, because there might be some who have not yet watched it. So
some who have not watched it. That's crazy talk.
So, Mark, could you fit a Han in carbonite? Could you fit a carbonite in the payload, I wonder?
Well, the set does come with a couple in there. They're the
That's right. They're the plates.
Not the large one, but it does come with the two. I have to actually pull the landing gear off. That's the downside of my design, is you got to pull this landing gear off if you want to flip the side panel down to be able to see the little carbonite shoved in there, guys.
That's right. They're stickers on a plate, I think, right?
The old school carbonite.
But they're like the old school the old
1x2x6.
printed.
I've got one of those around somewhere. I don't.
Printed on solo brick from way back in the original Slave One.
Yeah. It's too bad you didn't get one of those with the set.
I've run across that Han Solo brick used sets before, so I've got at least one of them around here.
Oh yeah, those show up in bulk sorts all the time. For some strange reason, I don't know why, but they do.
It's like, I don't know what this is. Here, you have it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lego aesthetics, I feel like Lego didn't get the Slave One right until very recently. The UCS set was excellent, and then the smaller version that came out after the UCS was also had the shape and the color better. But I would say all the first versions of the Slave One were really clunky, and
first couple were horrible.
I didn't find them appealing.
It was the parts that they just hadn't come out with those parts. And then finally, they released it. They brought those parts out for something else, or maybe they brought it out for specifically the Falcon. And so then, boom, the Falcon started to have that correct look to it. But yeah, I mean, the first one, it sits on the bottom shelf.
It's ugly.
Do you have the first one, the very first one?
Yeah. Here, let me grab it real quick.
It's ugly.
It's awesome, though.
Well, he's doing that.
Well, it was very small then too, right?
This is the
That's very nice.
It was like a quarter of that size.
Hey, you have to excuse me for a minute. I'll be back.
got the little handle that folds out for playback, which I think
that's fun.
I built a stand that it goes on, so you can pop that in there, and then I can set it on my shelf in its flight position.
That's cool.
Which, yeah, it's great for play.
Mm-hmm. I've got the UCS one over my shoulder.
Yeah.
So here's the original.
Yeah.
Chunky.
Chunky.
I love it, man.
Yeah, that's what I have.
And then this is the one that Mark just held up.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a very good job of showing these with my hands the way I am, but so yeah, completely night and day as far as technique and skill and whatnot.
No,
But,
did you wait a minute? Is that the UCS you're holding or the?
No. The UCS is up on top. That would require two hands. I wouldn't do this with the UCS at the same time. Not a chance.
Is it customized? Because the stabilizer things on the side there are different.
Unless maybe this is the one prior to the one you have.
Yeah, because that's.
Okay, hold on.
Nerd. Where's the nerd?
All right,
Yeah.
All right. Go back here.
See this whole area right in here.
Oh, you know what? You're right. And this is even one that's even prior to that.
All right, here's the
How-
UCS one.
Oh,
How
here we
many of those have they made? Oh, that windscreen, man! I love that windscreen
And the back is
and all that dark red.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah, it is very cool.
although they could have. That's not modified at all? I would have liked to see the underside, the greeblage, be a little bit more unified in color. The tan and the black and stuff kind of stand out as being, I don't know, what would you call?
On the back?
On the bottom of the UCS there,
Yeah.
some of the tan looks a little out of place, I find. But I don't know the source that well either, so.
Well, I mean, it is greebly for sure on the bottom, but
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
so that's the one that you got, Mark, compared to the original. So they're actually a little closer in size.
Oh yeah.
compared to that one. And then this one is the first one. This is what kind of was slowly bringing me out of my dark age. Was this one, which was probably like 2012, I think, is this one. Maybe, give or take.
Interesting that they used brown instead of dark red.
I think that was before we really had a lot of dark red.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because even the first one, it's also dark red or reddish brown comparatively. So, yeah.
It is a really fascinating design for a spaceship.
This is the only one I have.
And you know what?
Nathan,
It's a good
Nathan,
one,
go
too.
big or go home.
Yeah.
It's a beaut.
It's a beaut.
That's a
It's
goal.
A beaut.
A bute's a goal.
I love this thing. Although I think I'm
One thing that
missing a.
One thing that is kind of bad is that the handle thing is fun for play value, but it does mess up the horizontal engine on the back of the ship, which is
It's a little wonky. I mean, I get it for the play feature, but I prefer it without it.
yeah, it's the kind of thing that
to make it swoosh.
yeah, and you could easily remove the hand off the back and fix this up so that it looks proper if you wanted to. So it wouldn't be that hard to do. So.
And Mark,
Are there any other famous spaceships, fictional spaceships, that change orientation, like when they fly as opposed to when they're on the ground? Because that is a characteristic feature of this, right? And it's a, if you had never seen the movie, if you someone just showed it to you, and especially if you couldn't see like Boba Fett sitting in the cockpit, it probably wouldn't occur to you that it flies the way it flies. You probably think it kind of does, right? And that would also look cool. It's just a very interesting design.
Yeah, I mean, the original designer said that it was inspired by a street lamp that was nearby.
makes sense.
You can definitely see that if you look at the ship. It definitely looks like an old school street lamp with a hood kind of thing on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to think of. I can't think of too many spaceships that actually change their orientation, like for flight, that aren't literally a rocket ship. I don't know. That's a good question for the. If there's any sci-fi nerds in the chat, if you guys can think of any popular sci-fi spaceships that kind of, change.
I feel like there is. I feel like there must be.
There may be
Gunstar, Last Starfighter.
Yeah, that one does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it takes
I
off.
just nerded right out. Wow.
Yeah, you did. Props to you. Props to you, because no, that's an excellent example. Bring out the Gunstar, FLEEBNORK.
There you go. Awesome.
There it is. Yes, the Gunstar does in fact land like this.
Yep.
Movie and stuff, and then it takes off vertically and flies. So yeah.
My Blacktron rocket from September does that. It's a tail lander, but it flies.
So Star Trek Discovery. Okay, that's not so. I haven't watched that show at all. So
Well, I've gotten through season 1 and a little bit of 2, so season 3. So now you're giving me a reason to go and take a look.
Are there any sci-fi in the chat?
Touche.
I don't know.
Brahm keeps us grounded.
So I hate to go.
Oh yeah, the B-wing. The big wing does weird things too. Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, B-wing does.
Oh yeah.
But
A lot of Star Wars ships in general, their wings will do weird things. Like the Mandalorian Marauder, its wing, it will flip it sideways. The Jedi Counselor ship, it lands one way and then the wings flip another way, so it doesn't land on its wing. So there's a lot of weird stuff like that, but nothing quite like the Slave One in that capacity. I mean, the fact that the cockpit has a chair that swivels, you really don't see that.
Well, that's what made me think of the Gunstar, because I haven't seen that movie since it came out, but I remember even then thinking that was such a neat design thing, having the chairs swivel after you take off.
Yeah. Well, and the gunner chair is a 360 kind of sphere thing, because the whole chair rotates as he's firing the weapons and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
I have heard rumors that they're either going to make a sequel or redo that movie. Maybe. I've heard.
All right.
I'd be cool with it. I mean, because the only thing that really dates that movie is its special effects, because even the live action scene on the planet is still really current. I mean, it's not horrible. It didn't age poorly. But the only thing that really aged poorly is the special effects, because that was an early Disney CG type of movie.
Yeah.
So even if they just updated the CG and left all the other parts of the movie intact, I'd be fine with that too.
Specialized edition.
Yeah.
Well,
The director's super cut.
I bought the anniversary edition of that a couple years back and showed it to Paul, and he really enjoyed it. He loved the whole idea of playing the video game. So good at playing the video game that somebody comes from space to get through the fight, in the Starfighter and all that. So
there was well, I say it's a series of books, but I don't think it was a series, because I don't think it was only one book that happened. But there was a book I read that I really enjoyed when I was a kid called Photon, something Warriors of Light, and it had to do with the laser tag game arena type thing. And the main character, who, if he did well enough in the arena and you made it to the end goal, he got teleported to another planet and was inscripted into the army to fight some other race or whatnot on behalf of the Photon Guardians of Light. And I was like, okay, it's a little bit like The Last Starfighter, but at the same time, I loved it. It was a fun book that I remember from being a kid. So again, teenage reading for sure, but nothing in depth like Lord of the Rings or anything crazy like that.
There must be an actual subgenre of sci-fi / fantasy that has that theme to it, right?
Which would make sense. The modern day man being teleported to another world to
portal fiction is a whole thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, that was the one, either the first or second arc in Heavy Metal.
Okay.
Where the kid, the teenager gets zapped to another place and he's in a bigger body and he's fighting off aliens. So yeah, totally.
Dead. I think the character's name was Dead.
You're right.
Yeah, Brahm brought up
not that I've ever seen Heavy Metal.
Brahm brought up Ender's Game, which is kind of an early video game. No spoilers.
Yep, no spoilers there. Glass Starfighter Me Strong. Absolutely. So I hate to go back to a subject you were already talking about when I came in, and kind of you were probably down at the end of it, but I feel bad for you, Nathan, for your lug or the local lug to you, that it is the way it is. Because the more I'm talking to other lugs, the lug here in Atlanta, we're a little unique in the fact that we have so many people who are, in different areas and very respectful of each other. Where, as opposed to having that elitism or too cliquey and kind of feel, and I even know
it's not that, like, there's not an elitism really. It's just the community is so large now that it's fragmenting into subgroups, and there are other people that I've connected with around in the area that create that do our own mocks and that do sci-fi and fantasy. I could show you some links of some incredible stuff that some of my local friends do, but it's just not really part of the culture of the club. And so we all feel a little bit set aside, and I would love to start a Montreal chapter of the club, or a Montreal only lug.
Well, I was just going to ask you. I mean, because I've heard of other lugs getting so big where they wind up, through osmosis or cell division or whatever, and they split off and become two different lugs, or a new lug spins off.
Well, I've started a lug. I've started lugs before. When the Vancouver Lego Club became kind of, it wasn't that it was too big. It was that it was like, coming in from outside of the city on a Friday night when they had their meetings was sometimes I would spend 3 hours driving across the Port Mann Bridge. Like, it was insane. The traffic was completely unreasonable. And so I started a club further out in the Lower Mainland, more suburbs. And it was sort of a sister club to Vancouver Club to just serve that need. And I think that there's enough need for that here too, but I think there could be problems where the original club would want to have too much say in how it goes, and they'd be worried about stealing members, and
there's no such thing. That's crazy.
I've only say this. It might not be the case, but I only say this because when I was part of the Vancouver Lego Club, there were politics like crazy.
The thing is that early on in Wamalug's history, they did split into two technically sister groups. Two clubs, the Wama Lego Train Club and the Lego Users Group, and 90% of all members of both clubs are in each other's club. I mean,
And Rich, that's a very good point. I wanted to ask you about this because say again, Magnus.
Just make sure to not have your meetings on the same days. You're not competing with the same people at the same time.
Yeah. Exactly.
But so Rich, I have the question, and I don't know if this applies to Magnus as well. That you guys are in both the lugs in your area?
I am.
You are. Okay. So the question is more directed to you. So I got to ask this because this kind of question came up because I thought you participated in both lugs, bulk lug?
Nope.
Okay.
My wife participates in one. I participate in the
way to
other.
do it. That's the way to do it. Okay, now it all makes
Now it all falls into place. Yeah. I have a partner.
Yep.
I have a partner in crime to help me with Lego purchases. Where she goes, why are we buying bulk again this year?
Which makes
twice
sense.
Two clubs. What are you doing?
Yeah,
that's a good reason to get married.
And she's in the other log. So instead of
she's in the other room frowning at me.
Yeah, so instead of only having 85 elements to choose from, You're at what? 170?
I just buy base plates.
Yeah.
My wife asked me, "What do you buy base plates for?"
No, but that would be awesome to getting to work off
should use
2
basically-
order lists.
Yeah.
You should just cover your walls with base plates you can use out, like wallpaper, and that way you can get minifigs.
So you have a place, a business, and the kids come in with play with the Lego that's in the play area, and you put it up on the wall.
Everybody calm down. Dad's here.
Yeah, I was gonna say no more.
We're sorry, Fazoom. We're full.
Is that a semi-transparent base plate?
It's a 48 by 48 clear base plate. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Where did you get that from?
Is that official?
I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, it's official. I don't know how rare the red and yellow ones are, but
I've got a red one. I don't have a yellow one.
it's kind of funny. It's official Lego, but if you look, you can see. I have to focus. No autofocus on my camera.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't quite fit.
It doesn't line up as well.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
But the clear one, you could do some really cool stuff for water if you put trans blue plates on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I've wanted to do for a while now is have a drop-down section in between tables at a convention with an underwater stuff, and have this
as the top.
And some of the smaller clear ones as kind of the surface with boats and whatnot on top, and then underwater.
That would be awesome.
Might happen someday yet.
Yeah, I totally dig that. I think that'd be really cool.
But yeah, it's not quite square. It's a little funky.
A little wonky.
I don't remember. It was part of some event I was at, and they were like, they know that the AFOLs don't care as much about this sort of stuff as fussy parents, or like, my kid's thing won't stay on the base plate. So
the tolerances are not quite to spec.
I had a 50 by 50 base plate, the old gray before they did the 48 by 48.
50 by 50?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah, they had an old 50 by 50 gray base plate before they went to 48 by 48, and I had a friend who was like a collector, and he's like, "Oh, I want that." I'm like, "I'll just trade you straight up for a 48 by 48. I don't care."
Well, yeah, because if you're putting it into a layout, it's going to be off from.
Yeah, I have no use for a 50 by 50. That's the worst size.
Yeah, I'd let that go in a heartbeat too.
So.
That's funny. That's funny.
I don't know if they're. Yeah, I'm not sure how they roll. I thought they were on rolls. I thought they formed them in a roll. Some of the bigger base plates. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they roll them out and then they vacuum form it. They warm them up.
Well,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
They're definitely not injection molding. It makes more sense that they're like vacuum formed in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. So there was a mold defect with these ones, and I ended up getting my hands on one. So that's kind of fun.
That's cool. That is definitely cool.
I have an unrelated Lego question. I've always wondered, and no one's ever given me an answer. And I wonder if anyone here knows or has any theories about this.
Probably.
Lego.
We've definitely got a theory.
Yeah. When they designed the Lego brick, why did they design it such that it was not as tall as it was wide? It's a proportion of 5 to 6 or something, right? 6 to 5.
I don't have a theory on that one. That's an excellent question, though.
But there must be some if you think about how much care they put into making, the clutch power just so, like, it's a work of perfection. But the fact that it's not quite a brick is not quite as tall as is taller than it is wide by exactly like 5 to 6 or something. So
here's my theory. Here's my theory, and I just came up with this on the fly, going off of my opinion from other things, because and Magnus, this will come close to your heart in a little bit, and Matthew, you're gonna know about this too. Well, heck, y'all should know. Even the peanut gallery should know this. So when they were making Star Wars figures, and someone said, "Well, how tall are we gonna make them?" and somebody went, that tall. Somebody held up a ruler, 3 3/4 inches. Boom, there's your figure. So I bet you someone said, how big do we make the bricks? Let's do that. It wouldn't surprise me it'd be something as simple and silly as that.
I have a theory too.
Give it away.
My theory is that they wanted to make it look a little bit like actual brick.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, probably.
Because actual bricks are not square.
No, they don't have the proportions correct.
Well, Jeff, you just stated the obvious because now all construction bricks are made that way.
But
Yeah.
the proportions of an actual brick is longer than it is tall, and a Lego brick is taller than it is long. So
Yeah, but I think
if that was their model, they missed the mark.
No, man. I think you're missing the point. So we're talking about a 2x4 brick.
Yeah, the 2x4.
A 2x4 brick.
2x4. Gotcha.
That
That's
doesn't
what I
resemble
No.
true masonry brick.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I think so.
I think that's where they went. And even if it's not exactly proportioned, I think that the way they did it with the tubes and the studs and the overlap of the edges of the brick wall, I think it just made sense to make it that size and have it sort of look like an actual masonry brick.
All right,
2x4. Their
Mark,
original pad wall. I think it just made sense.
Hey,
you gotta show,
what's up, man?
you gotta show Jeff Van Witten's messages because he's making science.
Sorry, I got two things going here. Hang on.
Yeah, you got to turn off the radio.
Oh, going through time there for a second. I'm good, thank you. How are you guys?
Yeah.
Clearly, we need to have a guest on from Lego who can explain this because
No, I think Jeff's description is quite accurate. I think
there's math.
Yeah. It comes down to real construction bricks.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, because then they bought the injection molding from somebody that had already had the prototype, and then Lego just said, "All right, we'll run with that." So.
And then they tried some other ways to keep it to do the binding, and that's when they put in the pad.
I had a set of those Kitty Craft automatic binding bricks. They were something else, man.
So as soon as Gil gets his donut adjusted there, maybe he can tell us what's going on in
The other part of Canada,
in outer Canuckistan there.
Well, he's not too far from me.
given
Toronto
us
and Montreal aren't that far.
Yeah, he's giving us the stink eye.
Not Toronto.
Well, people in Toronto think they're at the center of Canada, so he won't consider it.
It's okay.
This is true.
You know what's so funny?
This is true.
Is it absolutely is true? But it's not even that they think they're the center like politically. They think they're the center geographically, and it's so funny because Winnipeg is closer to the center of Canada, and it's like 20-hour drive. Like it's so far east of Winnipeg,
And it's honestly where, I think I can safely say this, where nobody wants to be.
Well, and it's all propaganda because it's like, if you look at your typical world map, Greenland looks like it's freaking huge, and South America looks like it's half the size of Greenland when it's actually the reverse. So I bet you it's just politics. People want to make it sound like it's more important than it really is.
Because you know how
You're
the Romans used to think they were like the center of the galaxy, right? Well, yeah, same thing. And like
sun revolves around the earth. Gosh darn it,
Dana, you're just projecting.
I know. I am. Hey, before we get into Gil the Flushmaster, I don't even want to know what that has to do with.
Sure you do.
I received something.
that too.
I received something in the mail today, and I know that some others in my position also received something in the mail today. So I figure I might as well share this with you if you haven't seen it online yet.
Oh, here it comes.
Yep, here it comes. You ready for it?
Okay.
This year's Lego employee ambassador Christmas gift. Whee!
Ooh.
I like the packaging.
The box
It's
looks like
shiny.
box is gorgeous.
it's like, what is it? So
Yeah.
flip
Who
it around,
cares?
and it is this
Ooh.
really
adorable.
cool looking. and it's like a power function thing because you've got your IR sensor here, and you can see over here that the conveyor belt looks like it loops the packages on a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that these monkeys or the elves here and even this guy up here, that I think they might do something as well as you crank the wheel or connect it to a power function motor. So normally I wait till Christmas Eve to build the Christmas gift, but I might have to build this one earlier because it just looks really interesting to see what this all does.
I bet their arms go up and down.
Oh man, I thought I was going to get through this episode without Chris giving me crap about bragging. So
I don't think there was anything humble about that brag, actually.
no, it wasn't really a brag. I was really just excited to share this with everybody.
No, that's what it was. Are you going to make copies for everybody? Did you bring it up to share?
I'm sure that I won't have to make copies available. Somebody will put these instructions up online within probably like 36 hours, give or take.
Yeah. Did you bring it up to share, though? That's what I want to know.
No, I did not bring enough bubblegum to share.
You're all out of bubblegum.
I'm all out of bubblegum, and I'm ready to take names. But so, yeah, and now what? Oh, so one other thing, because I was having a conversation with somebody else, and something else I thought was interesting, and I had noticed this because our lug, we get activity shipments twice a year. And in this year was the first time I've ever noticed this before, that we would get a not for sale sticker. Just like that.
That probably makes it even more valuable if you were to sell it.
So, well, I mean, I'm not really quite sure what Lego thinks.
That's like a dare, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like, and that's what I thought was interesting about the not for sale stickers coming on the sets that Lego provides to the lug for, activities. I mean, we do giveaways. We can do shows where we give away sets. So we might give somebody something, and that sticker's on there, and it's not a nice sticker. I mean, I'm sure you could do some tweaks to try and get it off very gingerly, but the odds are it's not coming off nice. To dissuade people from, I'm not even sure that's the right word, from people taking a set into a store and returning it for credit or money or whatnot. But it's not like this set is available in a store, but they wanted to slap that on there, that not for sale. So interesting Lego politics.
Well, I can imagine as an employee of Lego, you'd probably feel a little ripped off if all of a sudden there's flooded with all these sets that are supposed to only be for you as an employee.
Oh, but Nathan, I'm sure that either today or within the next 10 days, there will be somebody in Europe on Bricklink who has 10 of these or more for sale.
I'll just say, as a former Lego employee, that I was astonished that I actually got a Christmas gift from my employer. So the first year it happened, I was like, wait, I get a Christmas gift? Like an exclusive Christmas gift? This is fantastic.
Let me tell you the Christmas gift I got when I was a Lego employee. I got a cake cutter that was specially made for Lego in modern design. It's like a big S made out of stainless steel with the Lego logo on it.
A what cutter?
A cake cutter.
A cake cutter.
A cake knife.
Cool.
Like a cake knife.
That's
like
nice.
Now my wife, when she was a sales associate for 1 year, she actually got the special bird set.
The bird set.
I got that one.
Yeah.
I got a Christmas set when I worked. I was kind of contracted working for Lego when I was at WB Games, and one of our liaisons to the company, he managed to get me one that year, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But that was kind of extra above and beyond.
Yeah, I got a hunk of metal. My wife got Lego.
But yeah, it's really interesting, and that's why I find it funny that the not for sale sticker on there is because last year specifically with the Christmas X-Wing, prior to that I didn't really care or look into how often the Christmas gifts were being sold along the way. But it was interesting to see how quickly the Christmas X-Wing were going up online from Lego employees. Not necessarily from the ambassadors, but from the employees or store associates who were like, "Yeah, I'll take the $350 for that thing. Give it to me in a heartbeat."
And that's against the rules as an employee. You're not allowed to resell them.
Yeah.
Right.
That'd be tempting though, because that is the ugliest set I've ever seen.
I bought one of those off an employee, so I don't think it's ugly.
I got that thing in the door. I opened it right away. I loved it. It's But then again, I'm an X-wing nut. I mean, I think I probably almost have every X-wing that they. Well, except for maybe like the first two. I think I have all the rest of them. So.
Hey, I'm just stirring up the pot here mostly.
Oh, Nathan, I have found your numbers. You are the spoon when you're on.
Oh, there we go. 8.
You are stirring it up. That's for sure.
Yep.
8 on eBay already. Good job.
Thanks,
already.
Yep. No, not
plus.
And it's because there are people out there, and they're completists. I mean, they got to have everything, or they got to look for the exclusive, or it's a store employee that no longer works there, and they're like, oh, I still need to get the store sets because I've got all the other store sets, and so now I need this one, and I'm not working there.
I wish I could be a completist, but I don't have $1 quadrillion.
So the one year that the first year
20,000 square foot space to put stuff in.
The Christmas gift my first year was you actually got a Lego blanket, and it came in this really nice box, and then there was a fold out 3-legged stool.
I know, Jeff.
Huh.
And which I'm afraid to sit on because I would probably break it, but
so those seem like the components to making an awesome Lego fort.
A Lego blanket fort. There you go.
Yeah.
Add some pillows. We're good to go.
I've kept my Lego blanket in the box so it doesn't end up with a layer of cat hair over all of it.
And then you have the cake cutter as a shiv, just in case you get attacked by the bears.
And then a couple of years ago,
like the mark of Zorro, though. The cops that come straight to your door.
Matthew, a couple of years ago in the summertime, there was the Lego picnic blanket.
I didn't see that one.
I was going to say, for Nathan, sure, like that thing is awesome. Like that's that classic CBC logo. It was at the front of every single, Hockey Night in Canada if you're a hockey fan, but like every single,
beauty.
It's beauty.
Movie they trudged out of the holidays. It was always there. Yeah, it's awesome.
They had these at. I got this shirt at Mark's Work Warehouse. Mark's? I don't remember. Some workwear place here in town, and they had this. And the other one I got was it says established 1988, the hip, with a Canada flag, and I'm just like, oh my gosh! I don't usually go for like graphic tees. I don't even really wear Lego T-shirts or sci-fi T-shirts. I don't wear graphic tees very often, but the classic CBC logo and Tragically Hip, man. I mean, Gordon Downey, man, gone too soon. We all miss him.
More Canuck than that.
We may have just ostracized 90% of this stream.
What we're trying to do, Dana, is elevate.
That's right. You all have homework.
We're trying to grow our Canadian audience.
Go listen to the Tragically Hip. You won't
if the election had gone differently, I would have been more interested in this because I would have been trying to Canadianize myself before I moved. But
we can walk around and say we're on a YouTube channel, but it's really big in Canada.
That's right.
Oh, and those ladies up in Buffalo, they love us.
All your Canadian girlfriends or boyfriends, that's where they all live. Here.
I want to know why David's not on the chat. Didn't somebody send him a link?
Oh yeah. Dave is probably either at work watching this like in secret, or he just got home because he works in IT. So bless you, Dave.
Yeah, he
there's never an off.
Yeah, I thought my hours were bad and weird because typically I'm working like at 11 until like 2 in the morning sometimes, but Dave is like, he just said he just got home. So he's a brother in commisery for working.
Look, he's pixelated to protect his identity.
Yeah, maybe you guys could call it old maple bricks or something.
I was going to say, it's got to have something.
No, just Old Gray spelled right. That's
Oh, the Canadian, yeah, Grey, yeah, as opposed to Gray.
Isn't there a U in there if Canadians spell it?
Oh,
Maybe
no.
around where Nathan's from, but no, not usually.
The
Just a couple accents.
Huey bricks.
Yeah.
possible.
Hey, Jeff, welcome to the chats.
To the chats.
So Gil, you done anything? You do any Lego action, or are you just?
Yeah. Surprisingly, I got a little distracted and I built a like a little, kind of actually sort of like what Dana was doing, sort of trying to take sort of the classic feel and sort of like propagate it into like a little build. So there's this little runabout
Nice.
Oh, cool.
dude for it's like a VTOL thing.
Orange.
Nice.
And no, it's just my crappy camera. It's actually red. It's in like the space police colors and stuff, and little tilty things here at the back. But of course, it's got to do something. So these guys, these pods, oops, they come off both sides. So they come off.
You should use magnets instead of pins.
There.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
And no, because you see, Rich, that would make it M-Tron space, and that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen?
So,
No, I see.
so yeah, so these things, they both come off on both sides, and then when it's not being used that, it's like doing its own little runabout thing. So it's, yeah. So I just sort of did that to throw on to the base for when I got it done, and yeah, that's all. I'll probably do some pictures with maybe this guy just as to sort of see me through until I'm ready to do the full set for the base and stuff. So yeah.
So you're not actually advocating a boycott of them, Tron. You just don't want any mixing.
Yeah, I don't want it to like.
Trees.
I don't want it to pollute the purity of my space police too.
I see the purity of the space police color.
Yes, that's right.
What is your opinion on Space Police and Space Police 2? Like, are they? Do you have some sort of imagination thing where like one is better than the other? Are they police of the same side, or like how do they coexist?
Well, like canonically, I guess they're just a continuation, but like from as far as like a pure design kind of thing in that, I think for sure like Space Police 2 is the superior of the two. Like it's more cohesive. You know, like as far as design goes, like, you know, Dana had posted the other day that little recon rover thing. It's like the 6 small wheel thing and the little trailer with the tiny little rocket behind.
What if they're just one county over?
Yeah. And like when you look at that and you put it beside the big rover, same color scheme, same basic design between the two. So it's almost like a miniature version of like a larger thing. And they all use the same canopies, and that whole thing where they take the cells and they like that one chip like a captures them in like a friction grabber. It's brilliant. Like I think that whole line is just fantastic. But unfortunately,
no magnets involved.
Yeah, and there's no magnets involved. So yeah. I've always kind of liked that set, and I mean, I didn't actually prefer it until I guess maybe 6-7 years ago. I actually got the mothership, that galactic meteor, and that solar snooper, the roller thing. And once I built them, I'm like, oh man, these are so much better. They're just so good. Yeah, and like that solar snooper thing, the larger kind of roller, it's got those mid-sized plastic wheels with like the large knobs on them. Man, when you roll that thing across a hard surface, it's like Fury Road, man. The sound that thing makes is incredible. Like as a kid, I would be jazzed. Like I'm sure I'd drive my parents nuts. It sounds so cool. So like that, to me, that sells like half the line right there. So yeah.
And it's got those great wedge slope fan screen
Yes.
pieces in it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's again it's one of those things where like the first those guys where the first Space Police 1 obviously gets most of the love, just like Blacktron 1, where because the palette is so good, right? The palette for both those things is fantastic, and the palettes for their successors are good too. They're not as good, depending on your opinion, right? But they're not as good. But the designs for both their successors, in my opinion, way better. There shows an evolution from whoever was designing it.
Yeah, I've been pondering big questions in my life lately, such as comparing Blacktron 1 and 2.
I mean,
I think I've come to the realization that I would enjoy Blacktron 2 more if it wasn't called Blacktron, because if it weren't associated with something else that has its, like the original Blacktron, there's a certain mystery to them, and I feel like Blacktron 2 is when it went kind of mainstream, and it was better objectively speaking, but it wasn't a mysterious kind of, I don't know.
Yeah,
they went commercial with their big Blacktron label.
When Blacktron
t-shirts.
sold out.
Yeah, it sold out.
Yep.
They
cashed
became
that
like the
check.
classic Coke of Lego. Yeah.
But they never went back. They just
That's right.
They just stuck with it. Screwed the fans over.
Yeah, I'm with David. I like the Space Police 1 because I liked the trans red on the blue and I thought the prisoner cells from Space Police 1 looked kind of neat with the antennas, the trans red antennas and all that. I thought that was cool.
Those are cool.
Hey, Sarah Starbricks, thanks for stopping in.
It's kind of neat with the cells for the Space Police 2, though, with the exception of the little arch piece that's there to let in all the poisonous space air and stuff. It's actually a much more realistic cell. It's like a fully encapsulated kind of like thing. So it's again like it's the Space Police 1. It's cool. It looks neat. It looks like a jail. It's like laser bars or whatever it is. But when he took the other one, they're kind of like, I can see kind of the development. Like, the design is it's edging a little more towards the realistic, if you can use that term. But, yeah.
Yeah, but laser bars.
Yeah, laser bars. Here I am having to go back and look because I don't remember any of this stuff, man. I had Lego at this time, but I don't think I had very much.
And now that table is totally turned.
Yeah. Oh
Totally
my goodness. My Lego area is just covered. It's just a disaster. So what I've been doing to try and before you guys joined, I was talking about how I'm trying to really address kind of some of the root infrastructure of my collection. And so I've been doing a lot of sorting and addressing, methods and this sort of thing. And one of the things I've been doing in my sorting is taking all of my son's Lego sets and reassembling them and putting them away so that he can have them when he has kids of his own.
Oh, that's nice of you. I just absorbed all mine.
Yeah, I think I'd have a lot of grandparents and aunts and uncles and stuff kind of upset at me for that. So
they'll get over it.
Yeah. So I'm not absorbing the collections. But it's a lot of work because I'm a Lego fan, so people just bought him tons of Lego.
What you do is you just offer some money for it and they go away.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather absorb it, honestly. I don't. Yeah.
I was nice enough to pay my son off.
Yep. I think he would be okay with that if I told him that now. But then 10 years from now, he'd be like, so about those Lego sets.
So Nathan, what makes it hard? Just like chasing down the right part in the right color out of all of your parts? It just takes time to do that.
It takes a lot of time to track down parts, and especially like minifig faces and stuff, like to match. How many Ninjago faces there are? Like, thankfully, Oscar's collection started when they started doing parts lists kind of at the back of the instructions, and so I could look up the actual like reference the individual element with the right print, and so that's made it a little easier. But it's a lot of work. Some of those bigger sets take me days to track down all the pieces.
Well, and the one thing that I'll say, and Dana could probably echo this point, as someone who rebuilds sets or rebricks old sets that I never owned, even when I think I have all the pieces and then I go to build it, I never have all the pieces. So I'll start building and I'll be like, oh, I need 10 more of these, or I need 10 more pieces. I never count right. And even if I count it 3 times, I still don't count right. It makes me question my own sanity sometimes. But.
Well, and because it was a kid's collection, occasionally pieces went missing. And sometimes they're unique pieces, like transparent green wedge plates from Ninjago Dragon. That it's like, yeah, those didn't come in anything else. And so I'm missing one from this set. I'm like, man.
And it's gonna cost you to get it.
It wouldn't cost a lot, but it's like one piece from one Bricklink store, and then it's, oh my goodness.
So Nathan, I as Matthew said, I feel your pain because I do a lot. I've done a lot of bulk buys and going through and restoring all the sets. You know, I was lucky that one bulk buy that I bought, there was like 28 sets, and I think out of all of it, I was missing like 10 pieces, which were common parts that I had in my inventory that I could use to finish off those sets. But then there have been other buys that it's a crapshoot.
It's a grind, man.
It's poop.
Yeah,
where and it always winds up being just like you're saying. It's like that rare, weird part. You're like, oh yeah, it's like there was a helmet in this one set. It's a white helmet with a specific print on it that only came in this dragster set.
Yeah.
And it's not in there. And like there's like 3 Bricklink sellers in the country or in the world who actually have it up on the Bricklink store. And I'm like, yeah, that set's never gonna get finished.
Yeah.
Because they never, I mean, and that one seller or those 3 sellers, they don't have any of the other parts I need. So that's classic to happen. Classic.
I shared just
what
one.
were you working on back then? Because I was like watching, and you were turned around, and I see you go like this, and you're like,
well, yeah. So
that's your monorail station, right?
It is my monorail station that made it to Brickfair, Alabama. Or no, I'm sorry. It made it to Trains in Kennesaw and back. But then a subsequent trip recently, it did not survive on the way home, so I'm going to have to rebuild it.
It looks cool.
It's cool. I mean, once I put it back together, which I should have it back, and this whole area should be nice moon base by Thursday. Realistically, I need to have it done tonight, but now that this is not doing what it's supposed to have done, it's not going to happen tonight, which means it will be tomorrow before the moon base will actually be up and displayed.
That's cool.
Okay, but have you worked on your Santified thing?
No, unfortunately, in much the same reason that Chris is not here this evening, I have a small project that has popped up that I need to focus on before I can focus on that other project. I've got a week and a half for that. This needs to be done like tomorrow at the latest.
We already know you got the employee gift.
I wish that was the extent of my troubles.
That's what you got going on. You have to go put the employee gift together. That's what.
No, that may actually wait a week or so until I'm actually off instead of trying to do it while I'm working or while the crap is going on at night. So, time with that.
What about you, Matthew? Done anything yet?
I am working on a Santified project, but I'm keeping mine secret for the element of surprise. But I'm about a third of the way through the build, and I'm looking for a few parts that I know I had at one point, but I'm looking through my collection, and I'm like, did I give these back to Brickbank when I was sorting because I thought I'll never use this part? And
I've been waiting for that to happen, by the way.
I am looking for these like dark gray pieces that have like 4 corners. They're like a big chunk of plastic, and there's like these 4 corners that come up, and I cannot find them. I looked in the box of like big hunks of things that I almost never use and like dug through that, and I'm like, I don't see any.
I know what parts you're talking about. Yep.
You could probably guess when I'm making it if you know the part.
Well, I'm not sure what parts those came in, so I know
Okay.
the part you're talking about, but I'm not quite sure. So, Mark, Jay actually put up a really interesting question that I'd like to answer. What kind of space theme would you like to see Lego make in the future? The answer is anything but Star Wars.
Yeah, no kidding.
I would really like to see them say, hey, we're going to mess with your minds, and we're going to take those orange spacemen, and anything that a blue or yellow spaceman came in, we're going to make like a new version of that and throw orange spacemen in. That would make my day. So wait a minute.
Cool.
To cusp on that, has anybody else seen the Australian catalog that was put online?
No.
Actually, we talked about it yesterday. Well, technically it was on Pink Bucket Nation, but Chris hosted it yesterday, and we went through the whole thing and talked about it on Pink Bucket Nation last night.
This isn't the Pink Bucket Nation. This is OGB. We never talk about it here.
Well,
Well, it doesn't count then.
So, as many of you, for those who do or do not know, the 3-in-1 creator set that we got earlier this year with the little rover, and then we were leaked not too long ago that we're getting another 3-in-1 that is a little space flyer that has a minifigure that's reminiscent of the robot or android from Spirius and Unitron. And now they've released another 3-in-1 creator set that is a mech that falls right in line with those other two sets. So it's like we're getting somebody found a circumventing the system that they're creating space without conflicting with the Star Wars theme. There we go. There he is.
Oh, that's cool.
Ooh, wow, that's nice.
It is an awesome looking mech.
Yeah.
And it's got knees.
It's got knees.
It has knees.
No, I don't think it does.
I'm almost more interested in that secondary build, not the Daddy Longlegs thing, the one below it, that spider mech of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing looks like a Tachikoma from.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That
Nice.
looks cool. Yeah.
I don't think those are functional knees in that thing, though.
Well,
No,
I
I
don't know
think-
about that.
No.
Not in
They-
this.
No,
I think you're right.
Other way.
It is a little
Ninjago. Yeah, the Ninjago one has functional knees.
It's using that triple bladed.
This,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's
holding it up
fixed.
now.
It's using this
Yeah.
this piece as the knee.
And somebody pointed out or made a comment in some conversation that he looks very much like he would fall in line with that new Alien CMF miner
Yeah.
that's going to be in the next series, because he is carrying a crowbar and an orange suit. Looks like he's doing something construction, whatnot.
That is incredible.
Huh.
That set looks.
Yeah.
Those are
one-
functional knees.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
That's the
Yeah,
first
that
thing
one
when I look
definitely
at it, I'm like,
has
oh
functional
man, knees.
Knees. We're always so excited about knees.
I know.
Yeah,
Knees that
The bee's knees.
And he doesn't fall down.
look at those things. There they are.
Double ball joint.
Whoa.
Ooh, ah. Ooh.
I saw I'll have to find the image, but there was a blow up of it. I'll find it for you in just a second. It was a link from Twitter. That was the designer posted a photo on Twitter, and I'll find it for you in just a minute. Where is it?
Hey, I found something cool. You guys want to see?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Big screen. Come on, Mark. Don't fail
That-
us.
Sorry, I was in the other window looking for the.
I'm trying to like.
Oh.
Yeah, hold your hand up.
I have to click the thing with my other.
You're auto zoom.
No, my autofocus is not autofocus, but so that angle.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a cheese slope on top
Yeah,
of
it's a cheese slope on a bracket. On the end
Bracket.
of yeah, it makes a 90-degree almost exactly.
That's cool.
Interesting. That's all.
Very. I'm a big fan of anybody who uses a brick separator in their builds. Big fan. That's a weird piece. And if
I
you
was just
figure the
doing,
math
like-
to do it, yeah.
Just
Well,
playing around with the pieces on my table here.
Well, Mark is looking for that thing. One thing I wanted to say is when Nathan, you were talking about sorting. Okay, wait,
Yes.
hang on. What's that?
This is the description.
Yeah.
What?
8 mini ball joints creates a parallelogram that collapses into the calf, and then it looks like this.
Oh wow.
Oh.
There's all kinds of ball joints happening down in there.
Holy cow! So it's one of those. Is it 2 or 3 ball ones on the Technic?
Yeah,
Right.
the ones that are in here
Yeah.
are the hip joints that are on the Minimax.
Right.
Those things.
So now, if Chris gets this set, do we have to take out half the balls?
Ah,
Oh.
What?
It's not scaling right
Ooh.
on the feed. Nobody can see what you're talking about.
Oh, it's working fine on mine.
Yeah, it works here.
No, on the YouTube feed. I'm looking at it. Oh, maybe how did I? Maybe. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah,
I don't-
it's technical difficulties on your part. But
Yeah, it is. Yep.
yeah. The thing that I think is interesting is that a comment don't get attached to these though. I don't know if that's the
Huh.
I don't know if that's a comment about the ball joint or just the design.
That's a good
Well,
question.
It's kind of
they've never.
They're putting out sales production pictures. It's done. It's a finished product, I would think.
Yeah.
You'd
But
think
maybe
so, yeah.
someone said, "Oh, we can't use that design type again."
Why?
I don't know. I'm thinking some marketing or some VP at Lego makes some weird decision and says no. That's how things happen.
It could happen.
Yeah.
Some
That's
little
okay.
poor wee
we
thing
got a
got his
blueprint of it
fingers
now.
pinched in those knees.
Anakin, you're breaking my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
We
So,
were brothers.
so the one thing, go back. You're talking about sorting for the figures and stuff.
Yeah.
we did the same thing when my daughter was younger. You know, always saying like, want the right head to match the right thing and stuff. Watching Jang Bricks once, and he was sort of going through a little bit of how he sorts. And I don't. Maybe you guys already do this. I don't know, but this is brilliant for those things because I used to have, and to take a page out of Dana's book, a big box of dismembered heads, right? So I used to have those and like trying to find something in there, you know, impossible, right? These things, putting them together in a double row,
Huh?
so you can see like both sides.
Oh, nice.
It's
And-
feeling very Paris catacombs down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it totally is.
Or
So-
the faceless
these things are
ones in
great.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you just throw them like you put them all together. They slide into the drawer,
Yeah.
and then when you want something, just pull them out. It's like okay, nope, okay, nope. It's like brilliant. So yeah, in case it's useful to someone who hasn't seen it yet.
It's more
That's
useful than this.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. With this.
Yeah,
that's what I
that's
had
even,
before.
that's
and
even
it's-
harder. Yeah.
I use the Magnus system as well, so yeah.
Of course, the thing is though, is whenever you're looking like for one, it's like this one right at the bottom. You got to like break it all apart and crack it.
Yeah, I usually keep my minifigs together, but if I got extra heads and things like that, they just kind
Like it's like Raiders. It's like the last scene of Raiders. That's all it is.
Yep.
Rich, at
gonna
this
be
point in
much
time, you
better
have no
soon.
leg to stand on. You just accept the abuse and let us roll.
Yeah.
It's how it works around here.
I've got a lot of floating heads
Once you
somewhere.
use the words, I have to go in my small parts room, you know, you're fair
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
It's all over.
If you have an annex to your Lego collection,
Oh, dear.
that's where
You
it
have-
starts.
You're going to need a Lego archivist.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you all when I'm open for visitors, and you all come up.
Oh yeah, no, it's on the agenda. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're going to stop in on our way to Legoland, New York City. So.
Yep, which is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because we gotta
Exactly.
go for when like Tyler, you know, when Tyler and Amy can go and they're gonna like display their stuff, and hopefully there's gonna be something that should have happened this year with Lego Masters. So hopefully it'll happen next year with them. So that would be kind of cool.
Says I like that. Says the man who pulls classic space sets out of nowhere.
There he is.
Whoa, it's Fazumable. Oh, he's on a mobile phone.
How are y'all?
This is going to be choppy.
I'm getting a distinct early 80s feel on that video quality.
Yeah. Like,
Can you tick your head a couple of times, Chris, and like stutter your words a little bit? Not to make fun of Greg a little bit, but you know.
Max Headroom.
There you go.
Max Headroom, yeah.
Look. I hadn't had her out in a long time. Look at there.
Oh, there we go. There's the baby.
All right.
Boom.
There's a Waffle House.
There's a Waffle House right there.
Sure. Focus on the Waffle House, not the 6-foot+ spaceship.
Oh, poor Lenny and his Waffle House. And his very famous theater. Gosh, I can't get myself centered. His very famous theater, and the guy that said, "Hey, look, a Waffle House!" And stuff.
It was. I'll tell the story real quick. We did a public day display at Toys R Us in Rome because Chris knew the store manager. So it was like, I don't know, 4 to 6 tables of just whatever. And Chris and I built like a small moon base with, I don't know, maybe 4 or 6 modules between the two of us. And Lenny had brought the Globe Theater that he had built with William Shakespeare.
Oh, I love that.
And
Rome, Georgia. Remember this. Rome, Georgia.
True.
We're in Rome, Georgia. And Lenny is describing what it is to some local gentleman. And you can see his eyes start to glaze over. And he looks across the moon base and goes, "Hey, a Waffle House!" And, and you can just,
you got to know your audience.
You can see Lenny just sort of kind of deflate.
Well, you should have built a Waffle House.
That's right.
Oh, man.
That's so good.
Oh, that's
So, Chris, I don't know if you can see my screen very well.
Yes.
So, this did not make it home.
Oh no, it's upside down.
Yeah, it did not do well. So
where did you display it last?
Non-disclosure agreement.
What?
I was trying to do something with it, and we'll find out in the future.
Okay.
I don't want to. Yeah. Let's just.
You can text me later.
Yeah. So needless to say, it did not survive. I made a small change in the. I used to use some tires or some wheels to be the supports on the sides of it, and I think that helped it to travel more. And I took those out because I was using some of them for something else, and so I threw in some just regular old, classic stanchions. And they do not travel well in this with a structure this big. So
you strap some tires to the side. So basically, it's a Georgia bumper.
Yeah, absolutely. If we could float down the Chattahoochee, I'd be all over it.
Oh.
Hey, look, it's a Waffle House.
Which, by the way, I keep telling Chris he needs to just destroy that Waffle House and build a new one.
No. In the south, you just build a Waffle House on the other side of the road because that's why.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can take that Waffle House, the first one's sign to make it a Huddle House, and then build a new Waffle House. Because that
no. If you call it a Huddle House, that is a desecration, and you are to be kicked out of here right now.
No. That's not what I said. I think you're having a little technical difficulties. I said that the Waffle House closed down, and Huddle House made it a Huddle House, and then Waffle House built a new Waffle House across the street.
We don't speak the name Huddle House.
In my town, that has happened. Incoming, it has happened.
What's in all
I know is that
wait, yeah.
y'all
No,
lost.
All I know is that when my wife and I drive down the road, we look through the signs that say
Are we not wanting to talk about the town
no,
that I live
no,
in?
we don't.
No, we are not talking about the town you live
The
in.
town that I live in, the town that I call home, that is not a joke. It is called what it is called.
It is a joke.
There's a
You know
town
what?
nearby called Buford that they really wanted to call Ecstasy because it was so close to coming.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're supposed to say that about Alpharetta.
Well,
Hey, Mark, just tape the button down, man. Just tape it right.
the way I was told it was from somebody who lived in Buford, so that's why I have to tell it that way.
Okay, this from the state that also has Butts County.
Yeah.
Right?
I live in Butts.
Well, and Georgia
I
has
know about Climax, Michigan. There's also
Georgia has bacon and crisp, but they're not next to each other, which is a crime. In my
And
I
there's
just want you all to
coffee.
know that I'm going to be living 10 minutes away from Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
I was gonna say in Pennsylvania, there's yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's Bad Axe, Michigan, along with Climax, Michigan. So yeah, all sorts of fun names for states and cities and stuff.
You know what? I did not cause this to go downhill. I just
Oh, no, you did. We were doing.
Oh,
yeah, you did.
Geography, there's nothing downhill
It
about
went downhill the moment you joined.
We were doing.
No,
just
no,
fine without
but-
you.
But it's Dana's fault for telling where he lives.
Trust me.
I don't know. Fred.
It all started when you described your travels.
When I moved to Georgia, and you have to realize that this is the second time I moved to Georgia. My wife was still in the western suburbs of Chicago, and I moved down here because I found a job, and we were trying to find a place to live. And the closest proximity to the place I found a job was Cumming. And so I found some really great rentals up here. She's like, I am not living in a town named Cumming.
Yeah.
We've been here 10 years. Welcome to Georgia.
So you're saying her standards are flexible?
Not going there.
No.
Well, I mean, she didn't marry me, so she's got to have flexible standards. It's built in. It's built in.
Look, it's almost 2 hours, Mark.
there's a town in Ontario. There's no sexual innuendo here, but there's a town in Ontario called Swastika.
Swastika. And they voted last week or a couple weeks not to change the name.
Really?
Yeah. And it's actually not far from Kitchener, which before 1942 was known as Berlin. So
Nice.
yeah.
Well, Berlin is like, I mean, that's fine. It's a city.
Are there a lot of
Swastika?
Are there a lot of German immigrants?
There are.
Probably, I'm assuming so. Yeah.
Yeah, there
When
are.
was
Do
it
they
named that?
all have blonde hair, blue eyes, and perfect posture?
We're Canadian. That just doesn't exist here.
Well, okay, all right. So they've been polluted by the natives.
Yeah,
And they
it's weird because the town, was established in like 19th century or something like that. So why they would pick that name, I have no idea. But
That's bizarre.
yeah, it's really weird.
I mean, at
But
least
that's
my town
what's
is
so-
named after someone. I mean, it's somebody's last name.
But the weirdest thing though is like, okay, World War II rolls around, you rename it from Berlin to Kitchener. I'm like, okay, but you don't rename Swastika? Like,
Yeah, that's
what's the weirdest thing, right?
Well, I mean, to be perfectly fair, the Nazis stole the swastika anyway. I mean, it was used in many other
Tons of them.
places in history and religious things. But
it wasn't called a swastika then. They called it.
That's true. You are right. You are right.
I mean, does the word swastika have any other meanings than what we know it as?
Yeah, it's actually apparently it's a bastardization, ironically, of a Jewish term. Yeah, I know, but
That's news to me, but that's interesting.
yeah. But
Okay, I can remember being a kid and thinking it was a swash that they stuck on things. So it was a swash sticker.
Well, Chris, I know you saw it because we talked about it earlier today, and I revealed that when I was a kid, I thought that a submachine gun was only used on submarines.
nice.
Yeah.
So, and then Chris asked me, well, what about sublight engines? And I'm like, well, those are the lights that you use in the engine room on a submarine.
Submarine, yeah,
Of
sublight.
course.
It all goes together.
So what did you think a dictaphone did?
I love that you stuttered that because it would made it
Just saying. I mean,
my dad served on a submarine, and I was a little kid, and we had this picture on the wall that showed the submarine in the water and like officers standing on the conning tower, right? And so I thought that he was above, standing up there the whole time, like for 3 months, you know, in my head. Like I didn't really understand that they lived down in the submarine. And so my mom said it started raining one day, and I said I was worried, and she's like, "What are you worried about?" She's like, "Well, it's raining, and Dad's gonna get wet standing out there on the submarine."
Getting wet on the submarine. That's funny in itself. Yeah.
All right. So you didn't have a problem. You didn't have a problem in Indiana Jones when he hung on to he was on top of the U-boat going
we
to
don't
the
talk
thing.
about that. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about it.
But U-boats didn't go under unless they were attacking, so they would have stayed on the surface the whole time.
Or for that matter, he would have drowned like within like 30 seconds.
Did you see that line? How far he went? It's like 800 nautical miles. Like it's like above or below. The guy is fishing.
In high school, I learned about the phrase suspension of disbelief, and that's what we kick into overdrive when we're watching anything that has to do with Spielberg or Lucas or Cameron. We just kick it into overdrive.
Hey, I had a comic book version of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it showed it going underwater and holding on to the periscope and all this kind of stuff. Crazy.
Guys, we got to cut it off. We have ticked over 2 hours here, and we got to get, because we can. I'm sure we would talk all night, but thanks to
my wife's getting annoyed. I have to go.
Yeah, thanks for joining all of you on Messy Monday, and everybody in the chat. Thank you for hanging out with us and everything. And it's great that Fazoom showed up at long last. And please, do not fondle the planet.
I'm supporting it.
Says the guy who's usually fondling the planet.
So yeah, thank you everybody for joining us, and have a great night. And we will see you Thursday for Old Gray Bricks. So good night, everybody.